Hey man, how's my hair? Your beard looks good.
Ha! Your hair looks better than it's ever looked.
Come on, I'm just saying. Welcome back, everyone. We are back again. My name's Dustin, and Brandon is on the line with me. We are talking about roar. This is your weekly roar, and we have got a lot to roar about. So today we're going to tell some fun stuff that's happening in the day to day as the news is picking up all of the conversation of crypto being more institutionalized and adopted, the banking sector get involved. There's real life analogies happening right now. We're going to share a little bit about that because it's exciting. It's hitting the vernacular. It's really cool when it hits the street. When it hits the street, all of a sudden, that's where the magic happens. So we're talking about that. We're also going to cover some of our last quarter successes. And then we're going to end with our favorite thing to talk about for the last weeks is node sales, because right now they're going live, my friends. Starting to go live for those whitelisters and OGs. And you're going to keep your eyes open for when public is available for you. This is the time. We are here. Everyone's been asking for node sales. Node sales now. It is now. So back to the top of the call, man. I was hanging out today with one of my very, very, very cool investment advisors.
Mhm.
And like, I got a history of being around investment advisors. For those of you who don't know, I cut my teeth on working with a wealth management firm out of the DC metro area. And then I founded a tech firm out of that, as well as multiple others businesses that have supported high net worth financial advisors, as well as CPAs, attorneys, and more. And Brandon has a background in the banking industry. You've heard him talk about that before, working in a sector of lending and that kind of thing that really looks and gets eyes into businesses. And that's given us an advantage of understanding businesses and finance and banking at a different level as we've approached the crypto and Web3 world. And mine more from the technical side, his more from the banking and literal finance side.
Mhm.
So today I'm hanging with an investment advisor who happens to be my investment advisor for just the normal world of investments, stocks, and whatever. And so right now I'm heavy loaded into crypto. Why is that? Because I've gone all in on this project. And it's like, I got nothing else. Retirements, they don't exist. They're all in this work. And so, but at the same time, some of my stuff is turning around in this space. And so I'm talking to an advisor and saying, I need to rebalance at some point in the future and do the right things for what's in my future. And let's discuss it. And as I'm meeting with him, he's like, what got you here and what's going on for this stage of your business? And I explained to him what we've done at Roar. I said, this is what we do. This is what it is. Very simply put, Roar is Rails and end-to-end decentralized finance. So everything from wallet to chain to applications and exchanges, and even the onboarding and offboarding of funds in and out of that chain and ecosystem, it's all like it's our Rails. And we're building end-to-end applications to make it super easy for anyone, not just developers, to be able to utilize this world of crypto and Web3 and development with one button click use of launching NFTs, tokens, or whatever. And, simply put, you can get your money in and out of a token like Ethereum or OneRoar, and it comes into your bank. And I said, we have connected all the dots and filled all the gaps. We currently function that way with our business. We are bankless, and very soon we're going to encourage the whole world to be bankless with us. And so he's like, wow, I didn't know what you did. And he said, I didn't understand when we first talked, and I'm highly interested in what you're talking about. He said, I don't understand crypto or Web3. He said, but every one of us are looking into it now. Now, I'll say this is a CFP, so a certified financial planner
Mhm.
with a big name brand brokerage.
Mhm.
And I'm not going to give a name or a brand, but it's big. And it is a entry point for one of the folks that we'll probably connect with for some of our platforms, because I'm just saying. And so he's saying, I'm investing, and now I need to understand how to help those that are around me with investments. But before I do that, I'd love to understand more about crypto and whatever altogether. I own a little Bitcoin, I own a little Ethereum, and I just got my password and whatever worked out with Coinbase. I want to understand wallets and exchanges, whatever. And so we're talking about it, and then he stops and goes, he gets so excited as I'm just sharing some definitions and information. He goes, "Oh my goodness, I would love, just to get more information from you and sit down. Can I take you to lunch?" And I'm like, "Well, sure. But before we do that, let's talk about what you're looking for." And so he shared what he's looking for. I said, would you believe that we're building the ROAR portal for just this? Over a year and a half ago, what started this whole journey was we were in an event and we were answering questions for investment advisors and folks that are in legal and government and whatever on crypto Web3. And they said, "Hey, it'd be great if you did a newsletter. You came up with a way to rate projects so we knew how to invest." And I'm like, "I'm not telling anybody how to invest. By the way, this is not investment advice."
It's important.
Yeah, it's important. And Brady and I were both there, and we're answering people's questions. It was a blast, wasn't it?
It was great.
And so we walk away, and they're like wanting more. And that's where we realized it's probably a good idea to look at projects from a developer perspective as well as an investor's perspective and offer at least a way for people to research and do due diligence on projects. And we thought, hey, this would be great for later for investment advisors. Now, you got to know, the last 1.5 years, 2 years, because of what's going on in the market, ain't nobody been going that direction. But now, just the fact that I'm at my investment advisor's location and he's saying, "I want access to that," is surprising in itself, but it didn't stop there. He goes on into the idea of stable coins, which you're going to hear more about that from us later with our chain, which it's always necessary to have a stable coin when you're doing DeFi. So that's exciting. Anyway, he's talking about how it's genius how stable coins now, for the Genius Act in the US, they have to be attached to treasuries. And now that's going to help the dollar become dominant and a part of this digital future, right, getting it central, and that there's other opportunities there. And I said, "Well, can I just blow your mind a little bit?" He goes, "Yes, please." And I said, "Well, what if there were tax benefits to being in the space? I mean, you're talking to me about investment, so that now that I've done what I've done, and over the next 3 years as this business grows, I need to make sure I'm doing the right things with my funds as well, and make sure I've got estates set up and retirements and everything in order again, because I don't got none right now, right? I put it all in." And as you reallocate, you think about being diversified, this is what you need to plan. And I said, what if diversifying didn't mean selling something that triggers a tax event? He goes, "Yeah, because if you do this, you can do this to here, and there's less tax challenges and there's tax advantages to this. But when you have a big lump sum sometime in the future, that's going to be a taxable event that's going to be challenging unless the rules change." And then I said, "So let's talk RWA. You guys know that's where we're headed, right?" I said, "What happens if the conversation leads to tax preferential reinvestment that's like and alike?" So if you know a little bit about this thinking, in real estate, if you're selling a property, the best thing you can do is reinvest in real estate, a like and alike investment. Well, if real world assets are put in chain, like securities and treasuries that already are in chain, securities and treasuries are in the blockchain right now, and they're securitized and tokenized, and they fit the legal models for them to be traded in chain. I mean, you got big guys like BlackRock attempting to do this right now, as well as bigger investment orgs, right? You got stable coins that are tied to treasuries. So you've already got, we can have a conversation about the fact that that is a token against a token. Mm-hmm. Well, what if real estate does eventually end up tokenized at any level, so that mortgages and loans can be tokenized and fractionalized like we're building? Mm-hmm. And what if then stable coins, treasuries, securities, crypto, NFTs, real estate are all token into token? Would that mean there's tax preferential treatment for like and like? And right now, It's a fairly gray area. I think people are going to get laser clear on it. I'm pretty convinced that the tax geniuses out there at some point are going to try to get their pound worth of flesh. I mean, that's how it works, right? But for now, there's an argument to be said that this is a discussion. This is open debate, and there's opportunity. And at that moment, I could see the light click on. And he's like, oh my goodness, let alone the fact that this could stabilize markets, let alone the fact that this is better than a, don't get mad, central bank, let alone the fact that this is a way for people to democratize their own finances. If that happens, it is gangbusters. It's game changer. He actually said it's a game changer. And so here's the thing at the end of the day. That's still a lot of whatever. We're building for it. You're going to see it this year. I mean, you're going to see the rollout because we've already got it 90% done. So we're building for an eventuality. Whether or not the tax thing works out, we're building for that function in the system. And when you've got institutional advisors saying, this is where I have to go and I have to do learning and I need your stuff, that's screaming adoption. That's screaming. Guys, you know that you're in a bull market. You know when the narrative is for you, when you can't go anywhere, like your investment advisor or the coffee shop or you're eating a lunch or whatever, and you hear someone talking about crypto. So this is the way it was before the last bull took off, before the last altcoin season that went crazy. It was talked about, and now it's being digested. And so let me tell you how the end of that meeting happened. I'm sitting there having sold him on my portal. He's like, I want that. And I'm like, okay, we'll time out. We'll get there. We'll do that. And I want lunch with you. We'll do lunch. You know, I'll walk you through things. And I want you to show me some stuff. I'm like, great. He goes, and you said you had an app? I was like, yeah, we got the wallet. He's like, I'm downloading that now. And I was like, well, it's still beta. Like the final one is in. It'll be in the next days to week. It's in final review on the platforms, on the stores. He goes, I don't care. Download or whatever. And he goes, and what's your token? I was like, I'm not selling tokens. I just don't do that. He's like, yeah, but it's like, it's in there. It's all in there. Guys, he downloaded it and everything on the spot, was ready to roll. My investment advisor as I went for investment advice. That happened. That's real. What does that mean? Banking and institutional adoption are knocking on our door. I've been saying for over 8 months that only 4% of the population of the world's in the market. And it's because the gatekeepers have kept the doors locked. Guys, when we end up getting agreements for being able to use MasterCard and Visa and MoonPay and banking and Wallet Connector, whatever, which we are, something shifted and changed. We're able to run our whole ecosystem bankless. Something shifted and changed. And when I'm going to an investment advisor and they're asking for my advice and turning the table on me and they're wanting what we have, something has changed. I remember going to the bank and they're like, are you going to do any crypto with this? And I'm like, well, what if I am? They're like, we're not going to sign you up for an account. Wow. Okay, well, I can't bank here. Guys, that just happened last year. That's not what's happening anymore. The narrative has shifted. We're early on, and ROAR is going to be out doing the stuff. We're not just talking. We're doing. The doing is being done. Again, there's a ton out there that have Hopium. We meet with them all the time. People come all the time. They're like, hey, we want to work with you or partner with you. We want to do this, that, and the other thing. And guess what? They haven't done anything. And it's like, no, what they want is they want us to stop what we're doing to go to work for them. We're not doing that. We're building for this community all in. And so we are committed to that. And what's happening is they're seeing the value of a ROAR portal that's like for investment advisors, like replacing a Morningstar, but not just from investors' technicals, but from developers' wisdom and insight, knowing what's really going on in projects that sees through that facade of the people like we talk to. I would never put them in front of an investment advisor and say invest in them because they don't have anything done. And we have things done. We don't talk about it until we're almost at market with it. And if we don't come to market with it soon after we say we've got it, the reason why is because we're going back to the drawing board and fixing something in the back end to make it better and less buggy and more safe for you because we found something. That's how we are. That's what we're committed to. As a matter of fact, whatever's on our roadmap for this year, it will be there by the end of this year and more because we're already 90% there. So I just want to say that exiting that conversation, it was a huge ego boost, man. Come away from that and him like, I need your stuff. Let me download that. I want your wallet. And he's like all in it. How do I use it? How do I set it? I'm like, breathe, brother. And then him understanding self-sovereignty, no tracking. The no tracking thing. Owning your keys. He's like, but I'm on Coinbase. It's like, you don't own your keys. I was like, Coinbase wallet or platform? He's like, the exchange. Is like, you don't own your keys. It's not your wallet. It's got to be on your wallet. When he understood that, he's like, this is genius. This is genius. And he said, and the stable coin market alone, being back to treasuries and whatever, is incredible. And again, I'm leaking a little here. That's coming. It's at hand with the roar. So, moving away from that story, Brandon, it is time to brag on the roar movements, accomplishments for this last quarter. We need to blow people's minds.
Yes.
So, do you want your mind blown, my friends? Get ready. Brandon, take it off. Tell us about some last 3 months successes.
Yeah. And I just want to say to what you just said, Dustin, there's so much in there. Some highlights, though, that one, I think it's important for people to know that you and I are all in, that there is no plan B. This is it for us. So if you want to hang your hat on something, we've hung our hat on this. Two, I would say the concept of self-sovereign banking. Like, we no longer need a bank for our business to operate. Imagine if that's applied to your personal finances, right? It changes everything on so many levels, and we can't even talk about a lot of it. But I think that's important just to call those things out, and that's why we do what we do. And so, to your point, our last quarter successes, all the things that we're doing to make this possible for everyone, to bring it to light. First thing, our ROAR chain, our layer 2 is out of beta. Boom. That's awesome. And it's functioning and it's doing great. The one ROAR token is now on the ROAR chain. That's cool. We're starting to bring that ecosystem together. The one ROAR liquidity pools were established. The one ROAR airdrop was accomplished. That was a big lift because nobody out there does airdrops very well. We did it. We did it to the best of our ability. And there's a great one coming up next year, which will be even better than the one that we did this year. The ROAR token bridge was upgraded. I saw it. It's beautiful. Like, you did an amazing job, you and that team. Incredible. ROAR token tracker. You want to see what's going on with the token? We built a website. You can go look at it, right? Who else does that? Nobody else has. CoinList, we got on CoinGecko, CoinMarketCap, and actually there's 6 others that have picked us up. So we're available. You can find us and you can see our symbol and our ticker and all that. And then we got on centralized exchanges. That was a cool experience because we got to be together when that happened. And we got on XC and Bitmart. So really within like a week of each other, I think.
Super cool, man. I mean, it's incredible. I'm going to keep going. There's
Yeah,
more.
because that's not all.
That's not
more.
all. I mean, that's 3 months. So literally week by week work, we would say to each other, wow, we are supposed to celebrate every week, one milestone, go after one milestone and celebrate. But as you can see here, it's more than 2 milestones per week for that month or those months.
Mm-hmm.
So, and these are just the highlights. There's more to it than these. Incredible successes. The AMM arbitrage was set up across all of our one ROAR ecosystem, which is a challenge with centralized and decentralized exchanges and liquidity pools.
Big deal.
So we have a partner that's with that. The ROAR wallet 1.0 was released and 2.0 is being released now. So within 1 quarter, we released the first one for beta, and we have the fixes for all the bugs with onboarding and offboarding for funds and sovereignty on 2.0 coming right now. ROAR Chrome Wallet 1.0 and 2.0 coming out. I mean, again, same thing within 3 months, getting in and out of beta. The ERS NFT, which sold out just preceding this quarter, which was incredible. That was a big success for last quarter. We built the functionality with our AI, with Oracle AI, which we did get to an incredible development that we could release early, but we want to make sure we get a few more bugs right and release it right. The ROAR Platform 1.0 went live, and we started our own DeFi ecosystem, staking, farming, and more. It's more than proof of concept, guys. This is actual function and activity, and it's proof that we can take on-chain data like the ROAR NFT and embed it into AI and to other smart contracts and give it upward build. It's not just a little picture on a permaweb anymore. It's much more than that. It comes with metadata and credibility. So we did that. We built that function into it. And then we released the guild with our country club governance smart contracts. And we set up a ROAR treasury, and it's receiving revenue now multiples above expenses. So guys, we've seen our own treasury in our community grow more than 3 times in the last 3 months as the spend has grown, as we've done outreach and more. We always try to live below our means and bring the value back to the ecosystem. And that's before we turn on all the other places that the fees and returns come from as those apps are released. So that treasury is just going to keep growing, and our community is going to keep growing. And we're all a part of that. You guys know that we built the community is the owners and leaders of the ROAR long term. It's built in smart contracting for governance. So you own this with us if you're with us. Brandon, let's go on back to the thing that we started with. We mentioned, we've talked about for the last couple of weeks. There's new people on, and they haven't heard it yet. Talk to us about some of the node sales top information. And before he even does it, just know that we talked about it a bit more last week. We had other new news on it. And then 2 weeks ago, if you want to go back to that podcast, we have video walkthrough from some of these images and graphics you're going to hear about. But Brandon, let's go after our node sales and then bring this to a close with another revelation.
Absolutely. So node sales, great opportunity to get involved. The way the nodes work, you buy a license and you get an NFT, which represents that license. They are non-transferable. I want to call that out, as we have mentioned before. And then we've got 5 tiers. So tier 1 is 1,500 nodes, $300. That's the starting price. If you buy with one ROAR, you get a 10% discount. So little bit of insight here. We're going to open this to kind of an early adopters list, getting in. If you have one ROAR, if you have some NFTs, you're likely going to be on that list. If you're going to buy the tier 1 with one ROAR, you get a discount. So if you go ahead and buy those tokens now, you'll be ready for that, right? Just a little insight. Tier 2, 3,000 nodes available, $500. Tier 3 is 15,000 nodes at $750. Tier 4 is 35,000 nodes at $1,000, and tier 5 is 25,000 nodes at $2,000. The total available will be 79,500 nodes. And then the rarity levels matter too. So you at tier 1 you get Grail level, tier 2 is legendary, tier 3 is epic, tier 4 is rare, and tier 5 not so common. So I've said it all along. I want to get in on all the different levels, so I'll have all the tiers, and I'm going to collect all 5, just because I think it'd be awesome to have those nodes. And again, they're non-transferable, so you want to get those in the right wallets and all that, for sure. But it's going to be a great opportunity to get in and to participate, right? Not just this idea of having a node, but actually helping validate the chain. So it's a good opportunity.
100%. And early adopters, those that were a part of the early pre-sales of ROAR, as well as NFT holders, you guys are going to get in first. Like, get in. You're going to have that moment with the whitelisting in the early portion of this and have access. I would just encourage you, get in. Remember, they're not transferable. So use the wallet that you wanted on. That license NFT is not transferable. However, the rewarding can either be done with your local computer. Again, 2 weeks ago, we talked about the specs required. It's very low level. It's only like 250 gig solid state drive, and basic specs are very low. It's not a heavy lift for your device. And then also we have pooling available if you don't want to be in a device, but you want to pool in others. And those pool tiers or rewards will be relayed as well later. But yeah, get on early. They're not transferable, and don't miss out. As a matter of fact, and this is the thing, because right now, this is now going live for our OGs and early adopters, whitelisters, NFT guys. My thing is this: we have, and again, I don't know, man. It may go in like a day, 2 days, whatever, to get that first 1,500 nodes sold, because we have over 7,000, I think, just in our NFT holding space, wallets involved. And then we have on our X account, I know there's like 30, 40,000 folks, over 7,000 folks in our Telegram. I mean, I'm not trying to create that narrative, but you guys don't sit back and wait at any point if you have the opportunity to get in early. And then, of course, when that early, time frame goes and it's announced as public, you best get in early. The earlier you get in, the higher your rarity value. Now, that's going to affect your benefits, and I want to talk to you about your benefits. So that higher rarity value really comes in later in this. But benefits of holding the NFT that is the licensed NFT and being a node member is governance of the chain. So when it comes to the chain, and when it comes to the fees and the future of it, you'll be a part of that governance and proposing and support the fees itself. We have a new hybrid fee model that you heard about last week that we're working through, so that the first year, if there is slow growth in the chain, you can have an actual expected return that gives you much more value than you put in. And so you're always involved in the fees of the chain itself as they're transacting, validating, whatever. But on top of that, we're going to make sure that, and that's in Ethereum, we're going to make sure that one ROAR is literally going out to all of you node sales guys equally per node. And so that's pretty exciting. We're going to give access to our platforms and apps. If you've got an NFT of any sort from ours in the past, you know that we give you access and do things with them. And so whether it goes to the world portal or platform, you guys have that with that wallet that's connected to the node license. And then whitelisting. You're whitelisted for our next projects that are coming out. We have a lot. So wouldn't it be great if you could be a part of like 4 or 5 other great projects before they hit the news or whatever? Well, we have in line 26 different developments right now, and there will be more. So we're busting it. You can be whitelisted either to utilize platforms or be able to mint things or be a part of airdrops or whatever. And that brings me to the next thing, airdrops. There's another airdrop for next year. That's always been our goal. Our initial airdrop was supposed to be in 2024. We ended up having it in 2025. The next was the next year. And it might be the last of our wild, great airdrops, but that also will be considered. And then the last thing, and this is where Rarity fits in, just like Rarity with our Executive Roar Society NFTs, Rarity actually affects the Roracle AI. Now, our Executive Roar NFTs are always going to have that legendary status for their rarities. I'm just saying, we're never going to, that is like pinnacle and status symbol for being a part of the Roar. But these Roracle, these node licenses NFTs will also have it. So your Grail and your Legendary and your Epic, the Roracle AI sees that and gives you more alpha information, much like the ERS NFT. So if you didn't get a highly rare Executive Roar Society NFT, then you can get one of these. And I think there's a couple still for sale on OpenSea if you want to try. But here, if you get in these early rounds, you're going to get very close to the same thing. And remember, our AI looks at what is entirely on that wallet. So maybe you've got like 4 or 5 NFTs from the Executive Roar Society, and this is on it with it. That actually can bump you up to alpha level information if you've got a Grail. So that's not going to be the same level as our Grail and our ERS NFTs. But added together with your holding, it can put you up there where you have that access to that highest tier alpha information for investments, trading, opportunities in Web3 from our Oracle AI as well as its function. So that's kind of cool, man. I think that everywhere we look, we're looking for more ways to make the benefits even more to our community and better. I think that's huge. Now,
absolutely.
Before we end this, I just want to take a second and say, Brandon and I have been noodling around an idea for a while about this revenue. Like, so this is coming in, it goes in our treasury, and then it goes to the rest of our plan for our ecosystem, which we're accomplishing. And it goes into our value locked into our chain, as well as is available for rewards or whatever. So even this is for upkeep, maintenance, and expansion. It's not putting our kids in college. That's just not how we roll, guys. So the node sales is going directly into what's next in this ROAR ecosystem and world, which you're part of. The community ownership is so cool. And we will be leaking more and more information on all of the ways that ROAR is going to start putting things forward for the benefit of the community, for opportunities in investing in possibly nonprofit opportunities as we give back. And then my favorite thing to talk about that people have been whispering around the edges and periphery for the longest time, you hear this word, token burns. Token burns. Deflationary aspects to our token itself. Guys, you hear it more and more. There's a deflationary there's a deflationary function in utilizing one ROAR to buy your nodes. So if you buy your nodes with one ROAR, you get a discount, and there's a percentage of burn for tokens. So folks, my encouragement is go get ROAR and use ROAR for the node sales. If you got ROAR, use ROAR, and then get ready for what's next, because we've only gotten started. We're going to get more creative and have more fun everywhere we go. Our community is growing. We need to mention here, our marketing team is massively grown in-house. New community leaders are showing up. You're seeing new mods, whether it's in Telegram and Discord and everywhere. You guys are going to see more and more growth, ads. This is it. We're in full court press mode. And through the rest of Q4, you're going to hear us get on these podcasts and talk about what's next in the ROAR as we have to release information on all of the different things. Again, ending right now, node sales is the big thing. ROAR Platform 2.0 is the next big thing. And I already have 4 big things I need to talk about beyond that. Oh, my goodness. Anything else you want to add, Brandon?
Just look out, because we have, what do you say, 26 projects in the works right now.
Yes.
And I mean, every one of them is changing the world. We are pushing the cutting edge of Web3, and we are making it easier and better for everybody that wants to get involved.
100%. You guys, you're going to want to at least play with and try everything we're building in the next little bit, because it's just so cool and fun. We're taking the guesswork out. We're removing the dev work, and we're making things one button press to get to end game. So you can actually be a part of creativity in the world of Web3 and crypto yourself, launching your business, your ideas, and your projects, including doing your own funding. Things that we have learned we're giving away in our applications as literal one button press solutions. So look for it. It's coming. And you guys, we're here. We are here. We are solid. We're staying. And we're excited you're part of this. So as we close, I want to say, as we always say, pride, it's time to hear you roar. Have a great week. We appreciate you all for being with us. Brandon, thanks for being on. And we'll see you next time.
Yeah, thank you. Take care, guys.
Take care.